is Jeff Mucci, Group Publisher for RCR Wireless. We're here at CTI with Jeff Gordon, CTO for Syniverse. Jeff, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
A lot of people have heard the name Syniverse, but maybe people don't know the history and heritage of Syniverse. Take us back to the beginning and kind of bring us up to date.
Well, Syniverse has been in the SS7 and network IP space as well as roaming for over 20 years now. And the outgrowth of the business really came from the GTE TSI business, where at that point we were providing network services as well as largely pioneering roaming concepts, roaming standards, roaming interoperability capabilities. Now, at that point, 20 years ago, the business was largely North American based. Ultimately, the business, as a result of acquisitions and so forth, was spun out to Syniverse Technologies, which is an S&P mid-cap stock today on the market. And since that time, we've done a number of things. We've continued to leverage our expertise and our heritage in network, in both IP and SS7 networks, to solve problems, particularly where SS7 and IP issues kind of come together, if you will. We've continued to expand our leadership in roaming and roaming enablement by providing global interoperability solutions. And then we've supplemented that with a broad spectrum now of messaging and messaging interoperability solutions. And having started from a North American-centric business, largely focused on network, we've blossomed that business today to a point where we now serve 800 operators in 160 countries around the world.
Interesting. So you talked about roaming, you talked about a little bit on messaging, and you talked about the network product. Why don't you highlight and maybe discuss each one of those three products to make sure we understand really what each one does?
Well, from a roaming point of view, we provide a total set of solutions for roaming. And we do that across all the technology bases, so whether it's CDMA, whether it's GSM, LTE, Wi-Fi, WiMAX, really any technology. We not only enable those subscribers to roam, but we also allow for interoperability. So, for example, we have a product that we pioneered called Uniroam, which allows a CDMA subscriber to roam on a GSM network. And in that capacity, we operate at a number of different levels. Down at the network and signaling level, we provide signaling solutions to authorize and enable subscribers to roam on foreign networks. We also provide a number of settlement services, so data clearing, financial clearing, to allow those transactions to be monetized, and then a number of business intelligence capabilities around that to allow operators to focus on managing the customer experience associated with roaming, to see in real time what's happening to their roamers, making certain that they're protecting their brand equity while also delivering a profitable business and delivering the customer's expectations, and business intelligence solutions that allow them as operators to maximize their roaming relationships, to make sure that they're delivering the best quality, but also doing so for the best financial position as well. So we really have a total roaming set of solutions today.
And so why did you buy a company in Germany to bolster your roaming business?
It's a great question. About 2 years ago, we acquired BSG, the roaming business, which was based largely in Germany. And at that time, as part of our globalization initiative, we really wanted to broaden our representation in Europe, particularly. And that acquisition brought us over 100 customers and provided us really a state-of-the-art GSM clearing platform, which we have now largely integrated into our business and consolidated all of our GSM subscriber base and operators onto that more modern platform while continuing to expand our global footprint.
Okay, good. And then on the messaging side, you acquired VeriSign last year. What impact did that have on your business, and what types of new customers came through that acquisition?
Well, with the VeriSign messaging acquisition, for one thing, we provided tremendous scale to our business, which in the messaging business is quite critical. So VeriSign helped with the acquisition, helped us bolster our SMS capacity, our MMS capacity, to the extent that today we process nearly 2 billion messaging transactions within a day. So that's been huge for our business, and I think it's allowed us to expand our reach now in the messaging business to over 800 operators worldwide, and provide just outstanding economies of scale to our customers, coupled with applying the Syniverse heritage of 5 and 6 performance that comes out of that network business. So how do we leverage those capabilities, get the reach, get the scalability, and make it even better with superior reliability and performance? That also has dovetailed very nicely with our strategy at the time to get into enterprise and A2P messaging particularly. And today, through a result of the acquisition, we now serve 6 of the 10 largest U.S. banks, for example, with our mobile banking solution. So it's been a very good acquisition for us.
And then thirdly, let's talk about the network business within Syniverse and some of the major announcements you've had within the network side of the business.
Our SS7 business has been a very successful business for us for a number of years. As I mentioned, we started really investigating and operationalizing IP networks 3-4 years ago. For example, internally, we've been operating SIGTRAN technologies to run SS7 streams over our IP network for about 36 months now. And we wanted to bring to the operators the benefits of an IP and an IPX type of network. Even though IPX and IMS core networks and other capabilities are still a little ways away from becoming mainstream, what we've been out doing is educating operators around the world on the benefits of moving to an IPX transport network now. And by doing so, providing better quality of service, simplifying the network architecture by being able to provide, whether it's signaling streams, content streams, roaming exchange information through the same kind of common pipe. Also improving provisioning and bandwidth capabilities, as well as offering a superior cost performance perspective. So what we did about a year ago was announce our IPX network. Today we have a large number of the major operators in North America connected to that network, and are taking that now globally to the rest of our customer base. So it's something we're very excited about.
Okay. What's the future of messaging? And you've talked about a messaging hub. How does that messaging hub play into the future of messaging?
Well, we announced the next advanced messaging hub about a year and a half ago. And really what we were trying to do was to solve for what we think is an emerging dilemma in mobile, which is as we offer more capabilities, more messaging types, whether it's instant messaging, SMS, whether it's MMS or video share type of capabilities, how do you simplify the customer experience while at the same time allowing them and enabling them to leverage the full complement of capabilities and technology? And our thought was the only way to do that, to simplify at the end user level, is to provide more intelligence in the cloud, if you will. And Next is really designed to provide the operators the central nervous system to be the intelligence in that cloud. Today, when we think about routing messages, we think about messages being directed based on network address, right, largely. And the type of message that is delivered is the type of message that was sent. And in many cases, the assumption is if it was sent from a mobile device, it will land on a mobile device. Really, in the future, we think routing is going to be based on presence and on preference. What does the recipient want to see? How do they want that message delivered? In what context? And I think that context may be defined not only on where you are or what kind of device you happen to be using, but also the messaging type you like. Your presence in social networks, for example. So perhaps my SMS that I send doesn't show up as an SMS on the mobile anymore. Maybe my preference is if I'm on Facebook, I want it posted as a message to my wall, as an example. And so in order for those kinds of things to come about, there really has to be an intelligence that understands and aggregates presence and preference, and then it has the sophistication to translate whether it's incompatibilities at the protocol level, at the messaging type level, or incompatibilities just in the capability of the equipment, whether it's transcoding because a video has different resolution on one end than is supportable on the other end.
Your CTO, we talked about three very distinct types of businesses that are all complex in their own right. What keeps you up at night?
Well, I think the excitement of where the business is headed. Having been in the mobile business now for nearly 15 years, I think that this is perhaps the most exciting time in mobile ever. When you think about the accelerating penetration of smartphones, the just amazing explosion of applications, and we're just beginning to see the very tip of that. Imagine what that will be in the future. When you look at the utilization of the device changing, I think about the device 10 years ago as something that we talked into.
Right.
5 years ago, we started typing into it, and increasingly it's becoming a visual and an interactive experience, for example. So the possibilities in terms of where we take the technology, how do we continue to accelerate what subscribers can do with this technology, how do we turn that into mobile commerce types of capabilities, how do we accelerate machine-to-machine interaction, for example, how do we bring all of that together and harness that power, but yet make it simpler for the customer. I think that's been the key aspect of mobile success, is the fact that it's expedient, that it's simple and easy to use. And I think that the number one challenge we have as an industry is to deliver all of this power, all this capability, but keep it as simple and friendly as possible on the part of the user. And that basically says a lot of companies, Syniverse at the lead, has to provide a lot of solutions internally to make that happen.
Jeff, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
Good. Thank you.